So I've had a lot of people hit me up about this game, Project Elite. From what I understand, it is an upcoming first-person PvEVP hardcore tactical extraction shooter that, according to their description, puts you in the shoes of an elite mercenary from the Elite Agency. Apparently, it's coming to early access in 2024, with their closed alpha and beta playtest access happening in March. It's apparently coming out soon, and a lot of you guys have been asking my thoughts. The trailer is obviously playing in the background here, and you know what? At first glance, when I saw it, something felt a little off, and recently I was contacted by a few different people who have been digging into who's making this title, looking into their website, their business practices, and just how you can get access to the game at the current point, and something started looking incredibly familiar. Now, if you've been around this channel since the early days, this one's gonna be such the craziest throwback, and I'm so excited to talk about Project Elite and their development studio, HomeGuard Games. If you guys end up liking the video, leave a like on this one. This is gonna be a good one. My name is Big Fry. Let's get into it. So Project Elite is being developed by HomeGuard Games. According to their website, they were established in mid-2020 when a team of like-minded veterans in the gaming industry who had worked on hit titles such as League of Legends, Call of Duty, Last of Us, and World of Tanks, fueled by their love of gaming, came together to create a game that would encompass all of their experience as developers and gamers. Our passion and purpose has driven some of us to create games for the last 2 decades, and there's nothing else in the world we'd rather be doing. And that sounds pretty dope. So then you go to their website, which in my opinion is a pretty good looking website. They have this concept art. You can scroll down and you can see everything about the game, you know, talking about the world, the gearing up, the gunsmith. The website looks really, really flashy and well put together. And when you scroll down, this is when I started noticing some familiar looking sites. So you scroll down and they offer pre-order incentives on the website, and what you can see here is it says pre-orders are not for everyone. Before you decide to pre-order, we encourage you to be absolutely sure you want to play and support this game in its early access stages. And then you have your standard edition, your Ghost Operator, your No Man's Land, and your Accession versions, and essentially they're all different prices, going up to around $120, but it's been slashed and discounted to $90. The $70 edition has been slashed and discounted 14%. The $50 edition, you get 10% savings, so it makes it look like it's such a deal. And this is when I realized that Project Elite is most likely going to be a scam. But first, I have to ask the question, who is HomeGuard Games? Looking at LinkedIn and looking into the past of a lot of these employees, it starts to paint a picture. Starting with their CTO, Pavel Pletnev. According to his LinkedIn, he has been working at HomeGuard Games since February of 2020. But before that, he was the Chief Technology Officer, so same position, at a company called Arctos Entertainment. And looking through the employees at HomeGuard Games, you'll notice that quite a few of them have ties to Arctos Entertainment. Now, who's Arctos Entertainment? They are known for their first project, which was War Inc. Battlezone. They were also known to have ties to the War Z, a survival game that released back in 2012 that was regarded as one of the biggest scam games at the time, being headed by Sergey Titov. And if you're a longtime fan of the channel, you know Sergey Titov. Dmitry Nikulin, who is their lead game designer and level designer, also worked at Arctos Entertainment. And you can see he was actually the lead level designer and game designer on Last Man Standing, New Frontier, Outbreak New Dawn, and Shattered Skies, all ran by Sergey Titov. Steve Eck, who was listed as an experienced QA tester leveraging dev background in intuitive bug identification, he worked at a company called Fredicus, which, if you guys know who Fredicus is, they were the ones who took over control of the War Z IP from Sergey Titov, and I believe they were the ones that have been running the game on their servers for the past several years. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name, but he is the lead artist at HomeGuard Games, also came from Arctos Entertainment around the same time that War Z and Infestation Survivor Stories were being made. But nowhere on this list at HomeGuard Games is Sergey Titov listed, and when this was brought up in their Discord, the response was that Sergey Titov is not involved in this project at all. until we start to look at where the funding for this project is coming from. So according to Crunchbase, they have been invested by a company called the Games Fund. And when you go to the Games Fund's website, well, guess who you see? I keep bringing up Sergey Titov, and if you guys are newer to the channel or you don't know who the fuck this is, Sergey was the producer on Big Rigs Over the Road Racing, a game with the worst reviewed Metacritic score of all time, and has frequently been cited as one of the worst video games of all time. He released War Z, which was a game that was basically panned across the internet back in 2012 because the trailers they showed off at the time and the features just weren't present in the game, and it was what I would call my first introduction to scam indie developers on this channel. That game was then rebranded and resold as Infestation Survivor Stories. That was abandoned. They then came out with Outbreak New Dawn, which was essentially the same game, but it was being resold again in the same realm as what we're seeing now, and then that was abandoned. And then they came out with Shattered Skies, which in 2016 I covered the long checkered history of Sergey Titov, and at the time I had around 1,000 subscribers and I was copyright striked. They didn't like the review of the game and they took my video down using a false DMCA request. Being a small YouTuber at the time, I had to reach out to other creators, which is where I met Blue Drake 42, and I actually got on the radar of Total Biscuit, who shared my story, got it out there, and I had to basically lie to Sergey in an email chain to basically bluff that I had a lawyer on retainer and I was going to be taking them to court, and they eventually took the copyright strike away after we strong-armed the fuck out of them. But at the same time, they were in my comment section at the time insulting the fact that, like, hey, this guy has 600 subscribers, I'm sure this is what's gonna hurt our game, blah 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 blah, while at the same time trying to take the video down to hide negative press of the game. Fast forward, they released more games like Wild West Online, The Magnificent Eight, and they just kept doing the exact same thing over and over and over. And then fast forward to 2024, my channel is 330,000 subscribers. I have a game development studio in the works. I'm dealing with real lawyers this time around. It really is a full circle moment for me, and it really feels like things have changed for, well, some of us. So what we have is a bunch of people that were involved in the original projects that were the War Z, Infestation Survivor Stories, Outbreak New Dawn, all of those scams that were put out, abandoned, and thrown to the wayside to then release another game, sell it, and doing the exact same thing that they did 10 plus years ago here in the flesh. Yet again, this has Sergey Titov written all over it. So I'm not going to sit here and say that Sergey Titov is developing this game, but their sales tactics are identical. The website design identical. It is being funded by a company that has been founded by Sergey Titov and developed by a bunch of people that were involved in the original companies that Sergey Titov ran. I'm not saying that Sergey Titov is developing this game, but what I'm telling you is Sergey Titov is most definitely involved with this game in a higher capacity that the developers are trying to downplay on their Discord. And if you guys are looking at Project Lead as a potential game, now granted, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the game doesn't look that bad, but that's the thing. Every time a game comes out with Sergey Titov's formula written all over it, it gets abandoned. So if you guys are wanting to buy in to support the developers and watch this development team grow and do all, none of that ever happens. The thing is these games look okay on paper. The trailers look decent. The gameplay is usually pretty middling to downright terrible, but it doesn't matter. They launch in really early, buggy, broken states with promises that they're going to deliver a final product one day. And up until this point, I don't think Sergey Titov has ever completed a project that he has worked on. This is a rinse and repeat tactic that for a long time, I believe Sergey has been working in the shadows and not doing this. And then we get this. And in my opinion, what I think this is now trying to do is capitalize on the hype of Gray Zone Warfare. And this is what they do. War Z came out right before the launch of DayZ. Wild West Online was released a couple of months before Red Dead Redemption. And now we have this, an extraction shooter in the same vein as Gray Zone Warfare, a game being built according to them on Unreal Engine 5. It's a realistic military extraction game. I think that's exactly what is going on here. Now, will the game be shit? I don't know. Will it be good? I don't know. What I do have a very good feeling on, based on the previous 10, 11, 12 years of history with the people at this studio, is that they will abandon this project. So this is my warning to everybody here. If you buy into this project, just know who you are buying into this project for. A studio that is built from people who have literally scammed people for years on end, funded by people who have scammed people for years on end. Don't trust anything they tell you, and spend your money wisely. The game might turn out pretty fucking good, but I have zero faith that this is the studio that I would want to put my money towards, because they have done this in the past, and it seems like everything that we have covered in the past in terms of their pricing structure, the website design, and just how this game kind of appeared out of nowhere leading up to the early access release of Gray Zone Warfare, the red flags are all over. As always, my name is Big Fry. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is the return of Sergei Titov. And I didn't think I would ever say that, because he's been laying low for a lot of years. But this is absolutely insane. All I'm going to say, guys, is if you're looking at Project Lead, just be aware of what you're buying into. I'm not going to tell you not to buy into it. Do you? But with the studio and those names on board, it's just, I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere. Let me know what you guys think down below. As always, my name is Big Fry. Leave a like on this video, share it in your Discords so that people can at least be notified that you might be buying into a potential scam. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.